Good evening and good night. This is update for March 19, 2022. This is day 24 of the war. It's end of the day update. As always, we will start in a clockwise fashion and we'll start from the north situation around the Kyiv, city of Kyiv. Let's look a little closer there. The major news here is that Ukrainian forces apparently destroyed the floodgates here that were separating river Irpin and this huge lake. It's called Kyiv Lake. And so apparently the water is flooding back into the river and into the riverbed. And the riverbed is about 1 kilometer wide and probably in some areas even more. So this means that the much more area will be flooded. And that also means that now the pontoon bridges needs to be at least 1 kilometer in distance, which makes it almost impossible to maintain and establish, given that there is constant Ukrainian artillery fire on these pontoon bridges. So now these two bridgeheads effectively become unusable for Russian forces. So as a result, we believe that they will refocus their attention and they will try to probably capture Makariv and go then kind of southeast and try to finish their path of trying to finish encirclement of Kyiv, as we shown here with these gray arrows here. Otherwise, there is just positional fighting here. It's a fierce fighting, but there is no loss to gain ground on other side. On the eastern side of Kyiv, it's also just positional fighting, a little bit quieter than on the western side. Apparently, the Russian forces here are lacking in supply, specifically fuel and ammunition, to launch major offensive from the east. Let's now move towards east. We would like to actually highlight this situation here. The small orange lines, they stand for Ukrainian militia attacks on supply convoys of Russian army. And they frequently destroy fuel trucks or ammunition trucks. And we believe that this is part of the reason why this significant amount of troops cannot maintain attack on Kyiv at this point. It's just positional fighting around Kharkiv. Not really much to report here. Also kind of quiet around Izium. No major developments there. Major place of fighting is Severodonetsk, where the Russian troops are trying to capture completely capture town of Rubizhne, which is adjacent to town of Severodonetsk. And this is a major industrial hub in this area. There is also fighting around Popasna here, and then there is fierce fighting west of Donetsk, around towns of Avdiivka and Marinka. All we know that there are heavy casualties, specifically on Russian force, but there are also apparently heavy casualties on Ukrainian forces there. Russian forces now attacking Vuhledar. Per our understanding, Vuhledar is still in Ukrainian hands. We haven't seen any confirmations that they lost control of that town. Now the situation, let's look at the situation in Mariupol, which actually haven't changed much, but we would like to discuss a little bit more in detail because there were questions from some of the viewers regarding shelling of the Azovstal factory. So Azovstal factory is this kind of blob, this brown blob. This is Azovstal factory, and the other one is Ilich factory. It's here, like to the north, right? So those are two major industrial mills in the city of Mariupol that create kind of backbone of its economy. And based on our understanding, Russian troops are still on approaches to Azovstal, and it's extremely speculative to discuss where exactly they are, as there is very little information available. So now let's look at what's going on here in the south. It's quiet around Makariv area, and we actually found out what happened with this group. Well, let's look in more detail. So what happened is we believe it's a 10th Special Force Brigade that actually moved here and established about 5 or 6 strongholds in the towns, in the villages here on the border with Dnipropetrovsk region, between Kherson and Dnipropetrovsk regions. For viewers' information, Special Force Brigade, it's about like 30 to 40% size of the regular brigade, and it tends not to have any heavy equipment. So this is just kind of, in a way, bridgeheads here for future arrival of the main attacking force. So they kind of preparing location for the arrival of forces later. Here, we believe it's being blocked on the Ukrainian side by 17th Tank Brigade. Otherwise, nothing major here. Let's actually go back, and we would like to discuss just general strategic situation here and significance actually of Mariupol right now. Because right now there is, in a way, unstable equilibrium between Ukrainian and Russian forces. Both sides are stretched to the maximum that's possible, and the importance of Mariupol is that it attracts disproportionately more Russian forces than it takes Ukrainian forces to defend it. And if Mariupol falls, and honestly, this is probably only a miracle can save it from falling. If it falls, that frees up quite a bit of Russian resources here in the south to make a decisive offensive here in this between Zaporizhia and Vuhledar area, and that could lead potentially to encirclement. So this is actually unstable equilibrium, and it's actually very important for Ukrainian forces to hold on to this city, or it will create a snowball effect for Russian troops, where they're going to be having more and more concentrated amount of troops in one area, and that will help them to destroy Ukrainian defenses. That's all for today. Thanks again for listening. Till tomorrow.